As you already get the feeling, sometimes writing code is repetitive. So as programmers, we have tools that you've seen already that allow us to repeat the same thing. For example, earlier, when I ran parseInt and I passed in a number, or when I ran toString, these are methods or functions, things that perform an action that we can reuse. But let's go about and write one ourselves. And the way we do this, there's two ways, is I could say function, and I could say greetings, and what it does. Now you're going to see this similar pattern in all of JavaScript of a parentheses and then curly braces. Now this function is called greetings. I can name it whatever I want, but this one's called greetings. And inside I can go ahead and say something. If I could only spell correctly. So this will go ahead and define it. So I could save this. I can even drop it inside of my console and inspector. And this is fine and dandy, but in order to call it, we have to say its name. So if I type in greetings, it says, well, hello there, this function works. Now, the purpose of these two parentheses is to pass information into it. So I can say greetings, but I could say, well, hello there, and add a name. So I could say that this function, greetings, requires a name as a parameter. Now again, this information here, only I can see, so I can name this whatever I want. So I could say greetings name, I could say, well, hello there, name. Now, the thing is with passing in parameter is it's almost like a contract. So if I want to go ahead and run this function, I have to tell it, I have to pass it information. I'm going to go ahead and reload this page. So I was expecting it to give me an error there because this depends on a name. And then I want to go ahead and add this name in. Now, this name here is a string, and I want to go ahead and put in the variable of name. And if you remember, the way we do this is that I just have to add a plus here. Great. So let's try this out. Well, hello there, undefined. And this is undefined because name, as you can guess, has not been given. So the way we make sure that it's given is that we have to go ahead and say greetings and pass in or follow this contract. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a space there because these two letters were too close. And now if I pass it in greetings Alan, this should work. Everything works. Now another way of defining a variable, defining a function, is like this. I could say variable greetings equals function which requires a name as well. Now, functions are particular in the variables that they use. So if I go ahead and I create a variable called car inside of a function called test, and then I run that function, and then I console log out the value of car, functions have an idea called scope. Now, this variable was created inside of test, and it only exists inside of test. So after this executes, car will no longer be in existence. So here I should expect to get some form of error. So I go back to my console and I paste this in. It's going to say uncaught reference error, car is not defined. However, if before the function I say, okay, I have a car and it's going to be called Volvo. Then inside of the function, I change the value of car to be Toyota. Then I'm going to run the function so this can execute. Then I can console log out the value of the car. And now the value is Toyota. However, there is one other scenario that we can do here. If I remove var in front of this declaration of car, this will work because it will make car what is known as a global variable, a variable that all functions can see. And you shouldn't necessarily do this much at all because this variable can coincide with other variables. So if I go ahead and try this here, I'm going to go ahead and reload the page. If I try this here, it works. And that's because when you don't use var inside of a function, it will make it a global variable so that everyone can see it, all functions and everything in the code. And it's generally bad practice. So you should always leave var there.